Hey guys, what's up and welcome to my course. In this video lesson I'm going to talk about lenses for the DSLR camera. Now the lens is a very important piece in the game, and that's because the lens is going to create our optical image, and then the sensor is going to take that optical image over and it's going to digitalize that. Now if the optical image is bad, like we see ghosting, we see unsharpness, etc., the sensor won't be able to make that better. It's the optical image which stands first in line, but it also defines how good your image looks like. Now, in this lesson, I'm not going to tell you which lens is going to suit you the best. That is something you have to find out yourself. I can only tell you what there is on the market, which things perform well in those situations and which lenses perform well in that situation. And then you have to make up for yourself which lens will fit you the best. Alright, so when we take a look at lenses, we can find three groups of people in there. The first group says, I want to have prime lenses. That are fixed lenses which you cannot zoom with. Then you got a group that says, no, I want to have zoom lenses. I want to have a small set, maximum 3 lenses, so that I can make my video frame much faster. And then there's the third group that says, I don't care. I got myself a kit lens and that works. Now that last group, I'm going to ignore that, because that is thinking wrong. Like I said before, your glass is very important. Now, whether you want to go prime lenses or zoom lenses, that's both a good option. But you just have to make sure for yourself which option fits you the best. Alright, let's take a look at the first stage. So again, I've got a keynote right here, and let me show you this lens. And we all know that lens. You go to the store and you buy yourself your first DSLR camera. And that lens just comes with it. You pay a little extra for it, but that lens sticks on it. And you have this great range, It's a zoom lens, and you have this 18 millimeters, that's a wide angle, and then you've got 200 millimeters. For example, on this lens, there's also 135, etc. But let's assume that you have the 200. That's a very nice telephoto view. You can do everything. That means you can practice on wide shots, you can practice on 50 millimeter shots, which I told you before in this course is the same as the human eye can see, and you can practice on telephoto shots. You've got the whole range. That's a perfect lens to practice on before you're going to make a choice to buy expensive glass. Now, for people that are already telling to themselves, no, I want to have prime lenses at their first DSLR, well, then you can also buy the body itself and buy a lens separately. And Canon has this great lens. That's this one here. It's a 50 millimeter lens at a f1.8, and that also gives you great looking cinematic images, video images, because that kit lens comes with an aperture of something around f5.6 or something, and you're going to get that video look instead of that cinematic look. But it's a great lens to practice with. Now, for those prime guys, that 50 millimeter, it's an awesome lens, and you are definitely going to find out very quickly whether you are going to need zoom lenses or prime lenses. Are you going to miss that wide angle shot? Are you going to miss that telephoto shot or not? It doesn't cost you that much. I think it's around $100, that prime lens. It's a very cheap one. It's a great practice lens. Alright, now when you do have some more money and you say, I want to have a good zoom lens that performs well, then this is also a great option. Tamron. And this here is the 28-75, and it has this aperture of f2.8, and that's something that we really need to have as a cinematic filmmaker. That great opening, fast lenses, as they also say. Now, when we look at sharpness, ghosting, etc., this lens is okay, It performs well, also on full frame cameras, but there's a better option. And that is this lens here. There's also a Tamron lens, and it's the 24-70, also at f2.8. It's a way sharper lens. It has less ghosting and all those other optical artifacts that you don't like. And again, it has that great opening on f2.8. And it has this very nice extra feature, VC, and that stands for vibration control. And that is something that the other Tamron doesn't have. And the Tamron lens comes around $1,000, and the Canon lens comes about $2,000 or even more. Half the price, and it does have that vibration control. That means an internal or an optical stabilizer within the lens. And for video, when you're doing handheld shots, that is really something we like. And that is something that the Canon doesn't have. So let's take a look at that Canon glass I was talking about. So we've got this 16-35 millimeters, we've got this 24-70 millimeters, and that is the same lens as that Tamron one, only double as expensive, and it doesn't have that optical stabilization. And then finally we've got the 70-200. Now this last one, the 70-200, is also available at Tamron, again at half the price, and they perform very well for its price. So it's really worth considering Tamron over Canon. Now, I have to be careful here, because people are going to shoot me else. Canon glass is very sharp, and it's very good. These lenses are very high quality. And when you are taking pictures, you are definitely going to see a difference between the Canon glass and the Tamron glass. Now, for video, it's a different story. For video, we don't have that 5K or 6K resolution that we have with pictures. Plus, at video, we have this H.264 compression on it. So that means the difference is very hard to see when you buy one of these lenses or one of those Canon lenses. And I can tell you that from experience. I have worked with both glasses. Myself, I own the Tamron lens, but I work a lot, I freelance a lot with the Canon 24-70 millimeters, and I can't see any difference when it comes to video, guys. When you're also into photography, then that lens is maybe worth it. Alright, so this here is a very nice set. You've got wide angle, you've got something around the 50 millimeters, and then finally you've got a telephoto lens. It are all zoom lenses, high quality, fast lenses. You've got 2.8, and that's the thing that we need. So this is a perfect set for those of you guys who really like to have a zoom lens, like I also do. I really like to have a zoom lens because that way I can work faster, especially when it comes to reportages, etc. Now guys, I have to warn you that 70-200 lens also comes in an f4, and that is something you cannot have. As a videographer, we want to have that shallow depth of field. That's a thing that those real amateurs don't have. They are working with that kit lens that I was talking about in the first slide. You know, that lens with an f5.6 or something aperture. So when we have that f2.8, that is professional, and that will deliver professional images. Alright, let's take a look at the prime lenses now. Because prime lenses even gives you a more cinematic and even more professional look. And that's because of the aperture opening. It's even more bigger. We even have more shallow depth of field. And that's what we need. Now, it is a work, you know, interchanging all these lenses, but you have to remember that's one of the strongest points of the DSLR, that we can interchange so many lenses, something we didn't have before the DSLR camera. So if you don't have a lot of money, you're still a student or you're a hobbyist or semi-professional, then you can look at the EF lenses of Canon, and they go around $400 per lens. And you just have to look on the internet, like which set that you want. You can buy each of them separately. Some stores maybe give a discount when you buy the whole set or something. You have to look at that for yourself. This is a great set. We've got 20 millimeters. That's on a full frame, almost fisheye. Then we've got 35 millimeters, wide angle. Then we've got that 50 millimeters That's the same as the human eye, something really narrative, a really narrative lens. This is the f1.4, by the way. So all these lenses even have more opening at their aperture. Then we have the 85 millimeters telephoto, and then we've got a 100 millimeters focal length. And then you can go even further if you want. We've got 135, we've got 200, 300, 400, etc. But you really need to ask yourself, do I need this? You know, start with, I don't know, 20 millimeters, 50 millimeters, and 100 millimeters. And then just look for yourself, do I need something in between? Do I need more or not? Don't buy actually the whole set at once, because maybe you don't need the whole set. All right, and then all these lenses also come with the L series. And when you look at this picture, you don't see any red ring around them. And that's because these are EF lenses. When you take a look at L lenses, they have that red border around the lens, and that indicates high quality glass. Now that doesn't mean that these lenses produce poor image quality. No, they're still great, for video at least. If you're a photographer, then really look at those L lenses. They are really worth it. For video, these lenses will do the job. Now, of course, if you really want to have that perfect crisp look, then you have to take a look at the L glasses. So that is something you need to find out yourself. Also, where are your videos being screened on? Is that on the internet? Are you always delivering in 720p or something? Then these lenses will do the job very well. If you're making DSLR films for the cinema, big screens, big flat screens, then consider the L glass. Or even further, if you really have the money and you say, no, I want to have very good glass, because once you buy a set of lenses or a very good zoom lens or anything like that, you can be sure that your glass will be useful for at least 20 years or even more. When you take care of your lenses, make sure that no dust or scratches gets in, then you can definitely be sure that the optical quality will always be there. Alright, then finally, like I was telling you, for people that have the money, here is the lens set that every videographer wants to have, every DSLR videographer wants to have. It's from Zeiss, and each lens goes out for $2,000, $2,500. Something like that. If you want to have a full set of 3 to 4 lenses, you're lost $10,000. Now, lost is a wrong word actually, because these lenses, really, if you take care of them, they go on for 20, 30 years, 40 years maybe, because optical, they are amazing. If you do work for cinema, I don't know, then these are really worth it, but they are expensive. For students, I don't advise these lenses. Students buy a simple lens, EF lenses, that 50mm I was talking to you about, maybe even a very, very, very cheap zoom lens, just so that you can practice and find out which guy you are. Are you a prime guy or are you a zoom guy? Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching this lesson. In the next video, I'm going to talk about the cinematography of the DSLR camera. A new way of thinking, that's the title of the chapter. And I'm also going to learn you how to think like a DSLR camera and how to produce that cinematic look, that professional looking videos with a DSLR camera.